Okay, that sounds good. Done his. Hey, just letting everyone know, Dan's outside at the moment. He is like ridiculously nervous right now. We've got Matt Hill coming on the show. I'm feeling pretty good about it, but this is by far the most nervous I've seen him. And so I know he's going to forget to do the cold open. So I'm just going to do this now. And when he comes in as well, you'll see it's the first time ever he's printed out notes. I think he wants to impress Matt. So I'm doing this. Big episode coming up with Matt Hill. Enjoy it. Play the sting, Ollie.
Hey guys, welcome to the Dan Does Footy podcast. You can find more of Dan Does Footy on the website, Spotify, YouTube and social media. Lids off. See ya.
There was heaps of sick kids and I was like, where are they? Kick him harder. Kick him all harder. Punch him in the face. I was bloody horizontally challenged, if you get what I mean. Boner. Tough crowd today. Should we say this is the line? If you don't hear the next bit, it's over the line? Okay, so if you don't hear the next bit, I've got a line. Who's just walked past Punt Road? It dips him.
Aye, what a treat, ladies and gentlemen, on the pod. Smoother than butter, this bloke. Commentators want to be him. He has saved the graveyard. No waffling, just calling it as it is. Our friend of the pod, Matty Hill.
Hello, Danny.
Welcome, mate.
It's absolutely fantastic to be here. I can almost smell the liniment in this set here. It's fantastic.
It's a lot. The set's great, mate. Thank you. We are so pumped. You have been, and I told you before, you've saved the graveyard to us, and I kind of had to explain that the graveyard is that game on the Sunday that people don't really get into, but you've saved that. So thank you for everything you've done so far.
No, I appreciate that, and thank you for your very, very kind comments. I must say, for me, it doesn't feel like the graveyard because I'm just lucky that when I was a kid growing up watching football, it was always Saturday afternoons. You know, you had your 6 or 7 games, and you had on the scoreboard, you know, A, B, C, D, and you had to work out what team was what and what radio station was covering what game, and of course, there were games that weren't even broadcast. You had to see the replays almost taken from a video camera the next day on the footy panel on Sports World. So I guess there are some games nowadays, because everything's broadcast, that are worse than others. But probably 25 years ago, if I was a race caller, I wouldn't have been able to call football for that reason. Everything was on a Saturday. So I'm just lucky that I get a chance to do it on a Sunday, and you get paid to do it, so it's brilliant.
You're very good at it, mate. You have Ollie's here as well, everyone who's just tuned in. Ollie's not going silent.
No, don't worry about me.
Ollie's and all.
I did say to you before we started, Dan, we should have worn suits. I literally said we needed commentary
At
suits.
Sandown today?
Well, usually I would, because I'm the leader of the Hoodie Appreciation Society.
Thank
I think
you.
they're the greatest things on planet Earth. That and soy sauce, sensational. If you're having them both together, magnificent. But the thing is, I've got to go to the races today, so obviously there's a little dress standard, and it's freezing in Melbourne,
It's
so
cold
I've got
today.
the jacket today.
You're a busy man. You just went overseas, and now you're back. So
Yes.
tell us about overseas.
Yeah, so Royal Ascot is a treat for any racing fan, and been over the last couple of years and followed the fortunes of the Aussies. So we had an Aussie mare go, and you know what the media game's like. It only takes one horse and it gets the whole media there. So off we went, and as for she did the job for us, which was fantastic. And the Victoria Racing Club have done a deal with the New York Racing Association for a race in New York to be a Melbourne Cup qualifier. So I went over and commentated on that, and they actually took the Melbourne Cup over and sent it around New York. And the Melbourne Cup trophy itself had the best hop-on, hop-off tour you could ever imagine. It went round to every destination, photos at the Empire State Building and Brooklyn Bridge and all of that sort of stuff. So just about spreading the word, really. But the best moment I can remember from having the Melbourne Cup trophy next to Brooklyn Bridge was just an American spectator walked over and said, what's that? We explained to him that it's the Melbourne Cup, an Australian horse race, and he turned around and said, the Melbourne Cup. Is that run in Sydney?
Well, close. Yeah, almost.
He obviously had heard of Sydney, and that was
close.
good enough. But no, it was a really good experience. But back into the footy and the racing now, and interesting time of year with the footy because we've got about 7 weeks to go home and away, and usually by now you get a fair idea of where each team's at, but it's still very open.
No idea. I said to Ollie last pod that I think the next 2 rounds, now maybe 3 now I think about it, is really going to separate contenders and pretenders. It's such a logjam from 3rd to 13th. It's
of course.
crazy.
And I mean, I never laced a boot on, you did, so you would have much more of an idea of how psychologically it plays out. But with the Swans beaten by a point, how hard is it for a team that's expected to go close, possibly even win it, fire themselves up 7 weeks from the finals? I mean, it's probably a loss they had to have
It's
in
hard.
some respect.
Yeah, I think so. It's hard. It's hard to stay at the top for so long. We've seen it with teams before in the season that you literally cannot stay at the top, then go into a final series. We talked about Essendon in 2000 or that year. Stay at the top, lost the grand final. So it's actually impossible. I think it's good that they've lost one and dropped one.
Yeah.
So then you get your momentum, you're human, you go again. You probably want a few losses around now.
Probably gets the fire in the belly a bit
does.
too, which is good.
Yeah, well, you're back into it. Yeah.
Dan's a really good person to talk about that because you were always really close to finals, weren't you?
Oh,
So
yeah.
you understand that pressure quite
I
well.
was really close to finals in telling the coach, hey, I'm here still. Like if you need me, if someone goes down, I've got the boots ready. I'm not going to lace them up yet, but
Totally.
if you need me, I'm here.
Super close.
You are flat out. So you're back in the swing of things now. Footy, and then footy stops and winter racing. You going to Paris?
Going to Paris for Channel 9, so calling the rowing, which is fantastic, and calling some athletics for 9 Radio because they have a separate radio broadcast for the 2 main sports. So Ray Hadley's their lead caller, and I'll assist him at the track and
Special
field.
comments.
So it is great fun. Like radio at the Olympics is a bit of a different beast because you're sort of covering everything in one go, whereas TV, you obviously just cover the one sport. So what's really nice about it is we actually get to go. Tokyo was during COVID, and that started a lot of things like calling things from studios and bedrooms and the like. Tokyo was an amazing experience. When we won the men's 4s, we took the gold medal off the Brits who'd beaten us the last 3 Olympic Games. It was a really big moment. Nick Green was calling the race with me. He's in tears because he was formerly of the Awesome Foursome. And we've taken the gold medal, and I had a celebratory glass of champagne in Footscray because we called it from a studio in Docklands. So that was my Olympic experience then.
Ah, good. See, you make me excited about everything. Just the way you're speaking now.
Yeah.
I'm now excited about soy sauce and hoodies.
Yeah.
I'm excited about
absolutely.
Olympics. Like, you just
Preferably
have this-
together if you're having a Chinese meal in a hoodie.
you have a great skill, mate. So with something like Olympics, you obviously love racing, you love your footy. When the Olympics say, hey, come and do some stuff for us, like, do you like the rowing, or do they say, go and learn as much as you can now and retain that?
Yeah, well, initially, it just sort of depends on who you're working for. So this will be my 7th Olympics if you count summer and winter. Wow. And I'm like everybody else, just love sport. I could watch 2 flies, crawling up the wall and find it remotely interesting.
If you could
gave
call
me,
that'd be great. I'd watch it as well.
If you gave me some statistics on it, I'd find it really interesting, So, like even things like alpine skiing or short track speed skating, anything that is competitive, I really enjoy. And I guess the skill of it, or the art of it, is you just have to respect the sport enough to learn its jargon, talk to enough people in it, and understand that you just can't rock up and do it. You know, you do have to. I think a lot of the time with, say, a sport like rowing, it's very much understanding the sport in its language is important, because you know what it's like. If someone from the rugby league world started talking about AFL and they had no clue, you would pick it straight
Sticks
away.
out, yeah.
You would pick it, and it'd only have to be a few words, So that's where it can get tricky. But at the same time, the Olympics is a fascinating thing for a broadcaster, because a lot of the sports, 99.5% of the public don't know anything about them.
Nothing.
But then you've got that 0.5% of the population who are obsessed. So sports like equestrian or curling, you'd be amazed. There's this little pocket of people who know everything about it, and will pick everything up that a commentator says. But then, I mean, most people that walk the streets during the
Just
day have
flicking it
no
on.
clue what
Just
they're looking
flicking
at.
it on.
So
Yeah.
that's the tricky thing for networks and for commentators in the Olympics.
You're so true. And there's literally every eyeball and ear on it as well. So you kind of have to cater for them, and then the niche market that knows it inside and out.
Oh, for sure.
It's a real skill. And then your voice is so unique. Now, Ollie does a presenter voice, and I can pick up straight away. But you are, is it something you train? Is it something that you switch on when you go into broadcasting mode and calling mode? Is it like, how did you know, hey, I could do this? Like, there's a long, you'd obviously have a passion for it and you would have grown up, thinking I can do this. But how do you go, okay, I can make this work?
It's a great question because when I first started, I just started commentating horse races into a tape recorder when I was 13. And actually someone came up to me the other day who remembered me standing in the grandstand 30 years ago at Flemington, and he thought I was mad. He thought I was crazy.
So you'd go there and just call them?
Yeah, I'd be standing in the grandstand with a little pair of binoculars into a tape recorder, and they thought, this kid needs a life, this kid needs to find a girlfriend quick smart, So, yeah, that's what I started doing. And I don't know about the voice. I mean, I started like a chipmunk when I was 14, 15. It's kind of nice to have a unique voice because at least people know who you are. Yeah. But I think what's hard about it is that people still do recognise me as the race caller, which is fair enough because I've done a lot of it. But it's hard to break that tag as well. And what's really interesting is we do have a history of race broadcasters going on and doing other things, like Bruce McAvaney, Ray Warren, the rugby league legend, was a race caller. Peter Donegan, there's been a lot of it, and it's been race calling's a great grounding. So you don't really want to sound like someone else.
No.
But I think the hardest part is people do register with me as a caller of horses. So when they hear me call the football, it's hard for them to get their head around it sometimes.
I think that was a big thing. I mean, we called it straight away. As soon as we heard you, I think it was this year, we were like, okay, that's different. We like that. Like it sounds like a little bit like, obviously, as you said, at the races, but no, given the commentary team and how we've spoken about maybe it needs a change up. And when you first came on my TV, I was like, okay, that's good. Like I like that you're just calling the game. There's no special comments are doing their thing. And you said before out there that you just let special comments do their thing and I'm just going to call the game as it is.
Well, I was a big believer. An old mentor of mine, Alan Thomas, used to call the races in Brisbane. He sat me down when I was a young buck and asked me, who do you actually work for? And I was sort of very nice and brash and said, I work for Sky Channel, Alan, He said, no, that's so wrong. He said, wrong answer. He said, you work for the listener. They're your employer. So when you think about it, if you're a St Kilda supporter or a Bulldog supporter and you're watching the football and I have an opinion, who's going to care? Because I've never played the game. My job's to actually call the game as accurately as I possibly can. And I guess that's where the race calling skill transfers, is that accuracy is our thing. So I pride myself and I really get shirty on myself if I make a blue because I try and be as accurate as I can. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I'm sitting there with Dermot Brereton. I watched him playing 30 years ago in the famous grand finals and things. What am I going to tell Dermot Brereton or Gerard Healy, Brownlow medalist? It makes no sense for me to. I don't care what I think, let alone they're not going to care what I think. So that's the way I look at it. That why would I give an opinion? And it's not my job. So you play your role, So I'm here, say in a Fox Footy sense, I'm there with Anthony Hudson, who's one of the greatest callers the AFL's ever had. Dwayne Russell's outstanding. Those guys are great at what they do. I've got guys, Geordie Lewis, Nick Del Santo, they're legends of the game. Let them do what they do and I just play my role.
Yeah, you do it so well, I think,
I find it really interesting as well that, in my development, that's something I've always been really wary of, is the fact I've never played, right? And I feel like in Australia in particular, it's very much a case of, have you played 100 games? Yes. Well, then you've got a job,
yes.
Virtually. So have you had those moments where people have got, so I doubt it would be the case at the moment in your career, but earlier on where people have gone, sorry, mate, like
good question,
you've not, thanks, Dan.
Good journalism.
Yeah, great. Question of the day so far.
No. Thank you, mate.
Got to lift your game, Dan. No, look, I haven't in that I've sort of backed myself in as far as I'm from that old school of being a broadcaster, so I've always, been inspired by the fact that Tim Lane never played football.
Yep.
Dennis Cometti did, but not a great deal of it.
Yep.
McAvaney, Hudson, Clinton Gribus, the list goes on of guys that were broadcasters that called football. So they were the guys that I would listen to and think, I could do that, yes and no. I do feel sometimes when you're at the football and I call it Radio Row. You know, you got your 5 commentary boxes there, and a lot of them are ex-footballers, you know, and you think, oh, what's the bloke that just called the races at Flemington today adding to it, you know. But as I say, I think you just back yourself in for what your skill set is.
Yeah.
And the other part of it is I'd really enjoy it. Like I have great fun doing it. And I find after a horse racing meeting I'm quite tired and don't really want to talk, whereas after a game of football, I'm bouncing off the walls. I'm erratic and, you know, would talk the leg off a chair. It sort of fires me up. I love it.
Well, you don't have social media, mate, but don't worry about those former players. You're the big dog. Okay, that's the feedback.
Well, it's very kind. And I mean, I think there's an element in broadcasting too. You're talking about the Sunday games. I think there is something about the old expression, familiarity breeds contempt. I think there's something in broadcasting when something new comes along, it does sound very fresh. And, you know, maybe in 3 or 4 years' time, people are going, oh, that Matt Hill, God, I'm sick of listening to him, you know. But I'm sort of aware of that. And I think, you know, I'm only doing 8 to 10 games this year on Fox, so there's these little sugar hits, you know. But it's just been surreal to think that all I'm doing is doing what I wanted to do. I'd go to the footy as a kid at the Western Oval and wanted to be a commentator and doing it. And if people are enjoying it, that's really nice.
Yeah, we are big time. You have to do so much, like racing, Olympics, footy. Your brain must be just like overflowing with information. So how do you retain the stuff that you need to take into a race or a round of footy and get rid of the stuff that you don't? Because you must... If I wake up during the middle of the night thinking about stuff for the podcast, we do 2 shows. You're every day pretty much, or studying. How do you do that?
The brain's just trained to sieve in and sieve out, you know. So race calling was probably a great lesson for this, because they always say race callers have good memories, but I think we've got bad ones because you learn stuff in 10 minutes.
Yep.
You know, when the jockeys walk up onto their horses, you learn them. You call it and then you forget about them. Most of the time you walk out of the races at the end of the day and forget who won a race. Okay. So the brain is trained to sieve. So maybe in a football sense, I've trained my brain to take in stuff that I feel is important, and that might be podcasts or segments on the radio on different radio stations that I like listening to, just to follow what's going on, read the paper. And then in a calling sense, I've sort of got my routine of learn the players, you know, look back at some old games, got a routine when I get to the ground. Even though I might know 95% of the players, I still make sure I still learn them when they're out there warming up. So I've got these set routines that sort of is a foolproof way of doing it.
And because they are so different, do you have... Because what can you take from race calling into the footy? Or is there something that you've gone from racing and then gone, okay, that doesn't work in football. So how are the two so different? Like just looking at it and listening to it, I go, race calling is flat out, they're just going, and the footy is a bit more tempo pace. It goes high, then it goes low. So what do you take from the two?
Well, in a way, I can still take that into football, because I think a lot of football commentary is based on inflection. And, you know, there's a lot of the actual play that's just the ball getting kicked around. And some of the time, I suppose people aren't even noticing that someone's talking. You know, it's just, you know, when they're horseshoeing around the back line or, you know, transitioning and things, there's not a lot going on, you know. But what's interesting about calling football compared to racing is that I've got people with me.
Yeah.
Whereas with racing, I'm on my own.
You're by yourself in there.
On my own, yeah. So on a Saturday afternoon, unless someone wants to come up and have a chat between races, I'm in there for like 7 hours on my Pat Malone, you know. So it's a pretty lonely world. And if a horse is 4 lengths in front, you've forgotten its name. It's a pretty lonely world, you know. Whereas with football, you've got a team, you know. So that's the difference. You're working in a team environment, and you do tend to sort of feel proud when you walk out that you've all contributed and helped each other. But I think the commentary side of things, the race calling into football, I think the inflections are important. You know, if someone's running into goal, you almost want it that if someone's going and making a cup of tea and they're not quite watching the game, but the commentator's just lifting his voice a little. I better go
get back
have
to
a
the
look
couch.
what's going on. You know,
That's great,
and we
isn't it?
all do it, don't we? We all watch the footy on a Friday night and might have to go to the loo or go and put the dog out or something. And think, the commentator's yelling all of a sudden. I better rush back and see what's going on. So that's one part of where race calling's really helped me. I think.
And I reckon in that that moment for you, Dan, where you went, oh, this is it. This when you got really excited by Matt. I watched back the highlights of that game. Can't remember. It might have been a game out west potentially, and there was a moment where two players were racing for the ball, and it did kind of just. I was like, oh yeah,
swinging
right.
from the outside.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I understand this, so
Yeah.
I can see the similarities for
Yeah,
sure.
look, there are similarities, and then there are. I mean, the thing is, obviously, it's completely different. But I was brought up watching football and watching a lot of it, and it was always something I wanted to do. So I guess I've been able to separate them, but also there are similarities.
Yeah.
It's interesting having to do both at once.
Yep.
You know, having calling a race on a Saturday, then calling a football game. I'm very cautious that I don't want to sound like a race caller.
Yeah.
But footy's fast.
Yeah.
You
It's
know,
quick.
so you do get sort of excited and then
Yeah.
start racing the game a bit, and you don't want to sound like the bloke that was whipping through 16 horses the day before. But unfortunately, sometimes it just gets to the stage where you've got to remember to take a breath, pause, and because it isn't a race,
No.
you know. And but it is such a great game to call. If you get a passage of play, and what's interesting when you're working with other people is sometimes you think, oh, gee, they're getting a fair bit of the goals, you know, they're getting the big moments, but there's always a moment round the corner that you get to call, or a passage of play that really excites you, and it's great fun.
Yeah. What has been that call for you, whether it's been probably racing, that you've gone, whoa, that was... Because I think when we do something good here in the pod, we go, that was pretty good. What's been one call in your career you've gone, whoa, that's going to stick with people, or that was a great race and I've got to be part of it?
Well, sometimes races stick when you don't think they're going to. There was a race years ago, a horse called Toes and Stardom won at Flemington, and I said it had dropped from the sky. And it had come from nowhere, and it was played on a promo for about 12 months. And, I would have left the racecourse that day not thinking much about it. Probably, which is interesting in itself, in a commentary perspective about rehearsed lines or just calling it as you see. Because you asked about preparation.
Yeah.
I like to keep it quite raw and call it on the moment.
So you're saying you have some lines ready to go in case something happens?
No,
Or not?
I'm the opposite.
Oh, okay, nothing, yeah.
So Winks won a race at Flemington at Turnbull, and she was in awful trouble. She was second last, and Bowman got caught up, and she got herself out of trouble because she was obviously a superstar. And right on the line, I said something in like a exasperated tone, like, "Well, they just can't beat her," you know. And I could never have rehearsed that. It was just what I felt at the time, and probably what everyone was feeling at the time. So I think that was the one call I walked away and went, "Well, I really got that right," you know. But and I've learnt from that you know, go to the footy on a Sunday, and if something surprises you, it'll surprise you, you know, and back yourself to have the right words at the right time instead of pre-planning them, because pre-planning them is not really the job that we have.
Nah. Who do you go for in the footy, by the way?
I was a Bulldog when I was a
Bulldog.
kid, so I've always had a soft spot. When they won the flag against Sydney, I was more, thinking about the supporters that I used to stand around with my grandma, because they were so long suffering, and I know St Kilda's the same.
Thank you.
There's
Suffering
so
over there.
many people that would just dearly like
at
to
him.
win a flag, I genuinely would like St Kilda to win one, because I know what it's like as a Bulldog, that it's a long, long time, and it'll happen. But, well, yeah. Hopefully.
Fingers
I'd
crossed.
like to-
I'd like to meet the person out there that doesn't want St Kilda to win one. Like that, I would just.
For sure.
I would
Yeah,
be interested to have a conversation with that person to find out
It's
why.
funny when I've said to people, I'm a Bulldog, and they always go, the Bulldogs are our second team.
Yeah, totally.
It's like the unoffensive team, Maybe a few Geelong supporters wouldn't agree with that, but they seem to be, everyone's got a bit of a soft spot for the Bullies.
Sure. A few questions here from people who listen. Favorite player or horse that you love calling or saying?
As far as players, Bontempelli.
Yeah. It's nice off the tongue.
Yep.
That, and also the fact that just watching him read the play is spectacular, and he grabs the ball and just runs with it, and that's any player who's got pace. But I do have some. We've all got favourite players for whatever reason. Like even a Saint. I'll tell you a Sainter who I really love, because I reckon he plays the game the old-fashioned way. Is Jimmy Webster.
Okay,
like he's just tough. He gets in there and he just players like that. Wardlaw for North Melbourne gets in there and he's tough. I love McCreery for Collingwood because when he gets the ball and runs with it, he runs 100 mile an hour. Like there's just little players that you come across as a caller and you just love when they get the football. You know, the other one's Toby Green. I love it when he gets the football because you just don't know what he's about to do with it. You know, and particularly when he's fired up, you just know that he can turn a game. Horn Francis for Port called him last Sunday. Every time he's got the ball, you think, is he going to do something spectacular?
What did you think of him?
Ollie.
I love him.
He was busy, wasn't he?
He was busy, and he almost he turned the game for Port. Really, if they didn't have him in the third quarter, I think they would have struggled. But he did some really spectacular things on Sunday. So it's when they get near the ball, you think, oh, come on, get the ball, and they're fun to call.
Yeah, for sure. One race or event that you get to call tomorrow, what would it be?
Probably the 100 final at an Olympics.
Oh, that would be great.
Would be great. That would be excellent.
Yeah.
I'd love to have a crack at the one sport that I think would suit me, and I've never called it, is swimming. I've never called the swimming, and I think if Australia went on a gold rush, that would be fantastic. But but that's Olympic stuff. One event. Oh, look, to be honest, the grand final. I've called one for radio. I'd like to do a few more. I love the grand final.
Imagine
it's such a great event.
Yeah,
and it's a great event to call because the players. The preparation for the grand final is different because you've called those players all year. You know the players off by heart, but you can start studying their backstories and what it means to them. And and it's historic, isn't it?
Yeah, it's big.
But there's a lot of things out there. I'd love to. There's one event that I've got an interest in that I think would be fun to do is the Indy 500.
Oh yeah,
yeah, because it's just so.
I mean, that is flat out.
It's spectacular. It's fast. Yeah. There's a lot of colour there. A Kentucky Derby in American racing. I'd love to do that. Yeah, so there's, Wimbledon.
Yeah.
Lots of things.
Yeah. The grand final you just spoke about, who's in it this year, do you reckon? If you had to pick two teams right now.
Right now, round 17, Carlton and Swans.
Okay, I'll take that.
But I reckon I was fancying GWS in the start of the year.
I think everyone was,
Yeah. And look, we're going to have a very open finals. In fact, we don't even know at this point. There's probably 5 teams that can make the 8 that probably won't.
Yeah.
They're all sitting on that 32 mark at the moment, aren't they?
Yeah.
So, look, let's go Sydney Carlton. Okay. I reckon that would be quite a good grand final,
We'll take that. Yeah. Who do you reckon? Did you say someone last week or not?
No, I think that probably sounds about right to me.
At the moment, it will be.
Yeah.
I am before we'll get you out of here and off to work and to Sandown today?
Yes.
Big race bit there or not?
If I don't call the first race at 12:25, that Gorringe kept me here for too long in his liniment-filled lair.
Exactly. I literally could go all day and just ask you questions, just listen to you. I could just listen to you talk, like have a cup of the end, just go all day, read a Harry Potter book to me. I'm a big Blue supporter, and it's looking, like you said, maybe going to be a great year. Can you do me a huge favour? Can you call this passage of play for me?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, mate.
Sure. Okay. Stand by.
And Dan, are you just going to close your eyes?
It might happen because let's see.
20 seconds to go in the 2024 AFL Grand Final. The Blues are seconds away from their first premiership since 1995. Wiedering kicks it to Walsh. Walsh overlapping handball to Cripps. Cripps, who won his second Brownlow on Monday night, is about to win a premiership. He finds Mackay at centre half forward. The crowd know the Blues have done it. Mackay with a long ball to Curnow, who takes a mark and will stroll in for his 6th goal of the day. And there it is. The lid is off. It's over. Carlton beat Collingwood by 125. Cripps walks over to the Gatorade cooler and pours blue Gatorade all over Daniel Gorringe. The season is yours, Carlton.
Yes. What a man. Mate, you are
a lot of energy for a 125-point win.
Well, I'm not sleeping for a long time, mate. Thank you so much, mate. You are
my
a superstar.
Pleasure, no, thank you for everything, guys.
Coming in and having a chat to us, mate. Thank you.
Anytime. Thank you.
That was great. What a man. What did you learn? Tell us something you learned, Ollie. Like
look-
school. What did you learn today?
One thing you learned. Well, what did feel a bit like school when I asked my first question, you said, well done. Like I've never asked someone a question before. What was that all about?
Yeah, I don't know. I just felt like it was a good question. I had to tell you
got
it was good.
Bit sort of Horn Francis, didn't you? A bit erratic, a bit
It's all the
fidgety.
little Dan Big Ollie stuff. I'm trying to like reverse those roles.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Just an amazing human. He's just... That's the level that we need to get to, where you can retain information and just be ready to go at all times. Like
Yeah.
his brain must be cooked with how much stuff he has up there.
I wanted to ask him, but I'm convinced that he wouldn't give us the real answer. That like there's definitely times where someone's gone to him, hey, can you call the like when he said the rowing, he doesn't know the rowing. The man would he'd be like a yes man, like, yeah, I can definitely do that, and then spends half the night learning everything he needs to know about the rowing.
Yeah. How much are you going to pay me? I'm doing gymnastics. No
Yeah.
stress. I'll learn all that. Yeah.
I
He'll
love
be
it.
great for the Olympics.
He'll
He
be-
said 9, isn't it? He'll do rowing 9. So when he's
Yep.
on the rowing, flick on a 9
Yeah.
and let's just listen to
Oh, I
Matthew.
loved it. It just, commentators have such a, like I was thinking about it, when he was talking about, say, like, oh, he'd love to commentate the grand final. Every player in a grand final that's had a massive moment, that commentator is now part of their life forever. And they just play such a
like
a
BT and
pivotal
Boyd.
point. Yeah, like made me think about some of the greats, like over there in Martin Tyler, Joe Buck, Lee Jordan, like some of these guys, like they're just incredible.
So we need to get him to prime time, but I think his 9 contract must not allow him to be. What did you say then?
No, I was just mentioning some of the greats, like Martin Tyler, Lee Jordan, Joe Buck, some of those guys. Like,
What is that? A Harry Potter? Someone else? You don't do that shit. I only got it because Kane's over there laughing,
you
and I
ruined
knew.
it, Kane.
See, yeah.
Lee Jordan, one of the great
Don't,
Quidditch
hey,
commentators.
someone did say this while we're on Harry Potter because you've taken us there now. You've just ruined the Matt Heal thing. Also, _ab says, no, wrong person. Joshy, what would Dan Ollie's patronus charms?
Okay.
Dan, ask Ollie what this means.
Patronus.
What does that mean?
So,
Patronus.
what would our patronus be?
What's a patronus?
Okay, so a patronus or patronus charm. So essentially, have you seen the Dementors?
What do you reckon?
I think you probably would have.
Dementors, is that a band?
So they're like they're the
The
prison
ghosts.
guards at Azkaban.
Of course
and
they are.
float around. They can suck your soul out, right? but to defend them, you use a patronus charm.
Great.
And it's an animal for everyone essentially. So like Harry's is a stag, and then such and such is a bunny. And so like, what would yours be? That
What would my animal
represents-
be?
What would yes,
Pitbull. Absolute pitbull would come out of me. What
Yeah,
would yours
so
be? Like a cavoodle?
No, mine would just be Stephen Mill. Would come out of the wand and defend me. Mine would be a tip rat.
Tip rat just crawling out of your wand. Okay, so we've got a pitbull coming out. You've got a Stephen Milne just walking out. That's great. Hey, I love that. Let's get straight into it. We've got a big episode here. We're going to try and
let's do it.
speed through this. Top 5 most aura. We asked everyone this.
Okay.
So the aura is like swag when someone walks around.
So
they've
this
got
is
it.
kind of new,
Well,
right?
it's kind of new. It's a new thing the kids are saying.
Yeah.
Kind of effortless swag. Like they just have it and you know they have it. They're not
Yeah.
trying too hard. So we do top 5. Number 5, Bont.
Yep, 100%.
Obviously. Nick Dacos.
Yep, that's fair.
Cripps, number 3.
Or certainly after that goal.
That photo he did.
Yeah.
That's when you know he
Aura
went
off
number
the
3.
charts. Yep.
Number 2, Marby Chol. He's
high up the
he's
list,
got
but-
no. The way he moves,
Yeah.
he's so quick, but he moves like he's just cool with it. Like he's slow.
Yeah. That's
He's
fair.
very cool.
That's
Watching this
fair.
week down in boring Geelong. Number 1, most aura, David Roden.
Oh, well, yeah.
What a man. Honourable mentions to Chad Warner, CJ, Ginnivan, Reid, Isaac Rankin, and Lloyd Meek. I feel like everyone's just trying to get Hawthorn on this list. Like
I love him, but I don't think Lloyd Meek has much aura. I think he just goes about his game.
Meek Mondays is pretty cool. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, exactly. It's just funny. I don't know if he's
I
the
tied
kid.
him up in Ballarat once.
Yeah, have you?
Have you heard that?
Yeah.
I told you that
four or
story?
five- yeah, 4 or 5 times. Yeah.
Yeah. I was on the air way out and he was on the way into the system, but I just had
Yeah.
to let him know
Yeah.
what's good with it. I'm not sure if this is true, but someone said it's David Roden's 100th game umpiring.
He's surely done more than that.
I don't reckon.
Really? Because can't you do more than one game a weekend?
Dunno.
Pretty sure you can.
Probably. Can you?
I don't
Can
see
can the umpires do more than one game?
I don't see why not. You can't tell me for the first half of the year that it's not possible to do the Thursday night and a Sunday. Certainly if you're a goal umpire.
Doms, maybe if you saw
Yeah, true.
hammies. We should, I don't know if you do even know who's umpiring what game. Does it give you that schedule and that fixture? So you know like David Rowan's going to be that game?
I don't
If we
know.
did, we'd get everyone behind the goal square in umpire outfits.
That's beautiful. Which game is it? Do you know?
I don't know. That's why I'm trying to see if we could. Big week for the AFL. Big day. Big couple of days for the AFL. Went into real crisis mode here when Andrew Dillon got in front of the mic in Adelaide. Announcing gather round, goes there, everyone's excited. Everyone hadn't heard from the AFL in a couple of days after the back of you need to answer these questions about what happened in the Essendon game. It's been going on for a long time now. You need to. The AFL said, no, we're not answering questions and we're not doing any more videos after the round, which I get. It's fair enough because you can't do that every round.
No.
Like, that's just a lengthy process and you're going to be doing that and it's going to get worse and worse and worse. So they said, we're not doing it anymore. Laura Kane, though, apologised to Brad. Scott calls Brad and says, look, we're so sorry. We got 2 of the 4 wrong.
Yep.
Told him the 2 they got wrong. Brad's got no worries. Went on 360 to air it out. He knows what he was doing. He's smart. He's know what he was doing. 12 hours later after that comes out, after Laura apologises, Andrew, after his announcing gather round, goes, the umpiring is as good as it's ever been. It's lying. No, it isn't. Now, maybe the umpiring itself isolated probably as good as it's been, as in they're better and they're fitter, they're stronger. They're probably quicker with making decisions compared to the 80s, 90s and 2000s. Can we say that? Can we at least defend it on that?
That's
so
there's
the
probably
umpiring
less,
is good?
There's probably less, like that BT story.
Yeah.
There's less betting and like that kind of thing. Like
there's probably less dirty hits behind the ball becoming someone's trophy. So we're saying that umpiring has been as good as it's ever been.
Yeah.
No one's getting hit off the ball. There's no one jumping into crowds to belt someone.
Yeah.
Like they've got things under control.
That absolutely
So we can
is the
say
case.
maybe, for sure. But the arena that you've created in the AFL for the umpires to go and do their job has never been harder. So holding the ball was one thing 2 months ago. Now it's a different thing. Standing the mark was one. Remember when standing mark was a thing?
Oh, yeah.
And they called everything. Now they've changed that. Descent was a thing, and now it's not descent anymore because the players are getting a bit more lippy. The players
Getting a bit toey.
They are. So maybe that the arena they've created for the umpires to do their job, that's never been harder to actually umpire in. But to come out and say that it's never been as good as it's been than right now, come on.
Yeah.
Don't piss on our backs and tell us it's raining. Laura just apologised. You're better than that. And the first step of having a problem is admitting you've got a problem.
Sure.
That's what they tell me.
Yeah.
I mean,
Who told you that?
I don't know. I've got no problems.
Were they wearing a lab coat?
Don't know. Yeah. I mean, we're not perfect. I've got some flaws. I'm sure you got some.
Yeah.
Of
course.
Do I sometimes, when I'm standing to go to the toilet, do I miss the toilet and not clean it up? Sure.
That's why you got to sit down.
No, I don't want to do that. Do I tell Anna that golf is going to take 6 hours and it takes 4, so I have 2 hours of beer? Sure, I do. What do you do? Come on, give us something that you're not proud of.
That's naughty.
Mate, it's an unspoken law that if you playing golf, you tell your partner, husband, wife, that it's 6 hours, so you can have 2 hours of beers.
Yeah, okay.
So we're not perfect.
No.
Anything you want to do? Anything you want to confess right now?
Sometimes I have been known not to clean the
Here we go, getting the weird feel.
ready-made meal. Like, maybe sometimes I've forgotten to clean that before I put it in the recycling.
Great. Okay. Why would you clean it anyway? It's going in the cycling.
Oh, Daniel.
Okay, that was a joke for you, was it?
Was
But
it?
we're not perfect. We're not perfect. We all have issues. So I just don't think you can say that it's been
No.
as good as it's ever been when it really hasn't.
No.
I mean, we can talk about this all day. I think we keep talking about the umpires flat out. It's just a weird thing to say, to come out and say that.
Well, there's just been too much commentary around it for then him to come out and do that and sort of gaslight us into thinking, oh, well, maybe he's right.
Yeah, treat us like
And
jabronis.
how many times, seriously, he's defending his product, he's defending his child, essentially, the AFL. But, if I make a mistake, you're the first person to go, yeah, it wasn't his best moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you still respect me and want to work with me.
True.
So, you can, well, certainly from what I can see. But, there would be nothing wrong with him coming out and being like, yeah, look, it needs to get better.
Like we're not done. We're watching the games.
Yeah.
Like you could have said anything.
Yeah.
Hey, we got some issues. We're going to try and iron them out. Look, the umpires haven't been great this year. Or the umpiring decisions have gone, 50-50. We could say
Totally.
we've had to apologise, but we're working on it. We're going to make this thing better, and we all would have accepted that.
Yep.
The one thing that you didn't, shouldn't have said, you said.
Yep.
And the AFL PR team, you just know that they're spinning into overdrive to try and turn this thing around. How can we spin it and make it in favour for us?
Could you imagine?
Bad day for them. They also announced gather round yesterday, which we're excited about.
Oh, yeah.
Now we'll be driving. just thinking we should probably do like a bus thing. Could we do like a tour
We could do it.
to Adelaide? Like we stop halfway on day one.
Well, we could do the Great Ocean Road next time. That could be kind of fun.
Isn't that longer to get there?
Well, yeah, you just want to do. You just said you want to do a tour.
No, but I want to do like 2 days bus tour where we get a bus, hire it, and then we have everyone on board with us. We stop halfway, go to a pub, drink all the beer there, then roll into Adelaide.
Well, there was a moment when we went through.
Stall.
No, just after Stall. What was the big town?
Border town.
No, just before there. Big town. Just
Renmark. Don't know. Keith.
Starts with the H. Anyway.
Horsham.
And there was a saloon there. And there was that takeaway store that we kept seeing? It was like thick shakes and something else.
McDonald's, was it?
No, I don't know. But there were a few establishments that I thought, we could probably stop off here.
Okay, well, we've got a bit of time to plan this. But April 10 to 13th, it's on during school holidays. Well done.
Nice.
Get all the kids down there. And we loved it. We loved it. Going to Barossa Valley this year.
Okay.
That's big. So they do have a game in the Barossa Valley. Now, imagine going to a game then rolling into a wine tour. Imagine you and the rosé. You're going to drink the place dry.
God.
They're playing so I think what they're going to do, they want to go to Barossa Valley, but they're going to scrap Mount Barker.
Okay.
To have 2 games in the Barossa Valley. And they're playing in a place called Lindock Recreation Park. Now, that is literally dog shit park at the moment. Mm-hmm. And they've got 8 months to turn it around. They've got a $40 million development on it. A race against the clock to get it up and about. And it looks really good. I watched the plans online are really, really good.
Okay.
Yeah, Nord Oval's still on the cards.
Good.
Soccer Oval.
Yeah.
Took players a half to calibrate the surroundings. I think your mob maybe complained about it.
That was a bad game. But awesome experience. Like Norwood Oval itself is like, I loved it.
It's good, but I mean, I think I love Gather Round. Gather Round's great, and we got to stop. People who complain about Gather Round just don't have to go. You know, I mean, you complain about the flights. They went through the roof. That's why we're driving.
Yeah,
we're not catching flights. We don't have the budget for that.
No.
I tell you who does though.
If there was a ground in Adelaide that you'd like it to be at, would there be one? Like change it up. Like I quite like Glenelg. Sturt's quite cool. Would there be
Tidra Gully?
Oh yeah,
Potaringa Oval.
Your old mob.
Yeah, it's a nice oval. Really is. Absolute shithole. No, that's where I grew up. I can't say that. Oh my God, that's the Gullies. Up the walls. I tell you, you can afford flights to Adelaide, Jared Berry and Charlie Cameron. Mm-hmm. Just country road, take me home to a place. I want so much cash. What's the suburb there? Mount Gravatt. Staying home, Brisbane Lions. Charlie extends to 2028. Barry gets a 5-year deal. Gets him off the table as a free agent, which would have been next year. Well done, boys.
Well
All
done.
that money. Well done getting that bag, collected it. I reckon they saw Hugh McCluggage sign. They said we're in.
Oh,
We're
yeah.
in as well. Everyone's getting paid.
It's exciting time. Congratulations.
Exciting time to be a mid-tier kind of player because you know you're going to get paid and a 5-year deal. Like Jared Berry's a good player. Is he a superstar? No, but that mid-tier is where you get paid a lot of money for being a very mid player.
That's true.
There's your superstars, top end, getting millions. Then there's your mid that are important to a team, probably can't afford to lose them, definitely not a free agency. They're getting their 5-year deals. They're getting their 5 to 800K. CBA's coming in, Tassie's coming in. Everyone's pressing and signing people on. It's Megan's. Well done, boys. That's very good. I'm just thinking what we should skip here. Let's go to Carlton Lawyers. Remain undefeated. Jordan Boyd set free to play this weekend after his medium impact has been downgraded to low. Now, this is crazy. Boyd submitted that Mansell delivery duck to get a free quick kick. This is the AFL, a free quick kick. We did not make finding on that evidence before us. He definitely ducked into it.
I don't understand any of that.
Yeah, that's what they said. If not for Boyd taking several steps immediately before contact to reduce the impact, we would have upheld the medium grading. So they spent 4 hours talking about this, which is the same amount of time that they spent on the Cripps 2 years ago when he won his Brownlow.
Oh, wow.
Same time. That's 2 footy games. Poor David Zeta's sitting there going, what is going on here?
Oh, that can to the door is...
Yeah,
Getting
right
heavier.
on. He orders the schnitz. He should have ordered some Chinese and just got the 2 chopsticks and just shoved them down his eyes.
Yeah, totally.
Like that guy's doing some extra work. But he is 4 hours is a long time to make a decision for the AFL. I feel like they got in there and it was like 2 hours spent on how do we maybe get him out of this?
Yep.
Like, is there a loophole we can find? And then another 2, but okay, we can't. Now we've got to come out and try and save our asses, which is good. I mean, Michael Christian has had a rough couple of weeks.
Yeah.
He's probably on a performance review.
Oh, it's probably time.
Well, he's making there's some disconnect somewhere because
Yeah.
he's saying this is a week and then it keeps coming back to him with nothing.
Yeah. Well, as you suggested, it could be that wheel. Who knows? Might not
Spin the wheel, the 8 ball. Yeah, I think we'll get a magic 8 ball.
Yeah.
For every decision from now on, we'll get one, just
think
shake
that's
it in here
fair.
and see where it's going to land. The ball technology, if you know they're doing this for the AFL, the AFL's ball tracking technology has been trialled with success on a weekly basis in the VFL, and is considering its introduction for the upcoming AFLW season. The technology has come a long way since the first Sharon with a microchip implanted in the football exploded as it was bounced.
I didn't know that. That's funny.
Deflating before it could be used in a trial. Imagine being like, oh, yep, the footy's all ready to go. Umpire bounce, it just blows up. So they reckon they fixed it. Then this ball is pretty crazy. I saw this on TV last night. I don't like the graphic, what they're going to do with it.
Okay.
But the ball pretty much with the chip in it will tell you when a ball's been deflected off a hand. Mm-hmm. I think the umpires get a heads up, or if it's hit a post.
Yep.
Now, the graphic they've put with it is pretty horrible. It's like when the ball goes through the two big sticks, which are the goals,
Sure.
a graphic comes up lighting up the goals, the space between the goals, and it goes goal.
Oh, AFLX style.
Yeah, I don't like it. It was
Yeah.
very like NFL Nickelodeon round.
Yeah, okay.
Didn't like it at all.
But good technology, not new technology, I should add as well. It's been done in other sports and it's pretty good.
Has it? Like VAR, or what are you talking about? Or in the ball?
Yeah, in the ball, absolutely.
Really? What
yeah.
other sports are doing it?
Well, in soccer, big time for offsides. They've trialled that.
Right. Well, I don't mind. I mean, this says here the league could decide to use ball tracking technology, which requires extra cameras at venues, and we've offered to go to Bunnings to get them some UFI systems as a perfect introduction to AFL football and the AFLW season starting on the last weekend of August. If used successfully, it would be then used in the 2025 men's AFL season, which would be big. I don't mind it. I just hope it's not used like the VAR system.
Okay. In
Because
what
this is
sense?
soccer.
Yeah.
Well, don't they track out of bounds with the ball or not?
Well, it depends what you're annoyed at with the VAR.
I
Because
don't
it's-
like that when someone's offside, they kick a goal and then everyone celebrates and the ref goes, "No, bring it back." If they're like a centimetre over, isn't it? It's
Yeah,
like
but
a foot,
just,
isn't it?
That's just the rule.
It's
If
too
you're
much.
offside, you're offside.
It's too much. Let the boys play.
No, you say that until,
So you're not
Carlton
telling me.
lose the grand final by one goal.
I'd hate
it. Yeah, exactly.
But so you're telling me that when it happens in soccer and the ball comes all the way back and all the celebration and they then put a pin in the balloon and all the air comes out of it, you're happy with that?
I don't mind it as much because I've seen my teams get burnt so many times. If you even think about 2006 World Cup when we lost to Italy because they dived over Lucas Neal.
Cheaters.
Yeah.
I tell you what.
If VAR was there for that, wouldn't have been a penalty.
I tell you what else. Smallest book in history. Italian war heroes.
Good addition. Thank you, Dan.
I don't want it to be used like the like that.
Okay.
I think goal line's fine. If they start doing like out of bounds stuff and then we have to bring the ball all the way back because someone's burst down the sideline, kicked it inside 50 and they kick a goal and then you're like, oh, actually, umpire just told me it was out of bounds 75 metres ago. I don't like that.
Okay.
But hopefully they just keep it to scoring. Hey, let's do our picks. Let's get into it. Friday night football. This is big. This is really big, guys. Collingwood v Essendon, MCG. Pies, $1.52. Bombers, $2.53. Lions, 11.5. I can't wait to see how both teams respond here.
Yeah.
This is big for both teams. Darcy Moore, also now under scrutiny.
Yeah.
Got a flying knee.
Yeah.
Technique's got to be looked at.
Yeah. I told you as well, the fans are like pretty vocal about him at the moment as well.
Which fans? Every fan
Collingwood.
or Collingwood fans? Saying the knee's too much or
No,
he's
just
got to defend?
they're like, get out of my club kind of stuff. Or
Whoa,
like really
okay,
like
they've
you, but
turned quickly.
step down from captaincy. Like,
Well,
yeah,
he gets an opportunity
Yeah.
to take a good forward here, tall forward as well. So
Yep.
he's going to be forced into actually defending because the big talk last week and coming into the round was he doesn't defend the best forwards.
Mm-hmm.
He just wants to drop off, and then Kane came out, and then pretty sure Sam McClure and him had a really
bit of a blue.
verbal, jousted each other. Bombers at the top of a slippery dip. This thing could slide out quickly. Now, the week before, I mean, I can see Essendon sliding here, big time. I've been big on it. I think they're still going to slide out here, but I don't want to go. Last time they drew, Anzac Day.
Yep.
Remember that?
I do.
Jamie Elliott stuck
Yep.
on the roof.
Yep.
Hard to get a read on where they're at. So last 5 weeks, Pies have gone draw against Freo, lost to the Dogs, beat the shit out of the Bombers, came from nowhere to beat North by a point and got lit up by the Suns. They didn't beat the shit out of the Bombers. That's wrong. Beat someone. Bombers have gone to beat Richmond, lost to the Suns and Carlton, beat West Coast and got messed up by Geelong.
Yep.
I can't read any of that. I don't know how to track this at all. Pies without McCreary, Noble, Maynard, Josh Dacos to take fitness tests. I'm taking... Give me the Pies. Mm-hmm. I think Essendon are going to start being frauds again.
Okay. I'm thinking Pies, but you know what? The draw makes even more sense with context, doesn't it? Looking back to the last time. Because I look at this and I go, I just don't know. Do you know what I mean?
Well, they're both not in great form.
No.
They're not in great form at all. I just don't. I think the Bombers are just. I don't like the excuse that they haven't taken a scalp yet. They haven't. Brad Scott came out and said it doesn't matter at all. We don't care about that.
Yeah.
But the fact that I think the stage might be too big for them.
Yeah.
Bright lights, Collingwood.
Yeah.
Under pressure.
Yes.
Microscope on them. People are saying they can't beat a good team. I think that the Pies just win this. They find ways to win. I'm all aboard. This is also big, but for completely different reasons. North and the Suns at Marvel. North 297, the Suns $1.40. The line is 7.5. Now, Suns haven't won a game all year away from home. So what Suns team are we getting? I have no idea. I said in the last pod, I'm going to pick North here.
You stand by that?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. They look good at the moment.
They do.
No Wardlaw because Hugh Greenwood decided to get out of the VFL and knock him out and just ruin that for us. But I think that they're playing good footy. They're playing really good footy. Now, the last time that the North played the Suns, lower than the state of Queensland, North beat them and cost themselves Harley Reid. So there might have a bit of PTSD here about what happened in this game.
I've just got a message. I have to stop you. We've got some big news.
Oh, my God. What is it?
Max King, Saints confirmed PCL tear for Max King, done for the year.
Oh, no.
Midway through the show.
Oh, no. Oh, that doesn't change my tip for you guys at all. Cool. So you change that 100-point loss to 200. You guys are cooked.
Righto, we'll talk about that later. But just
Wow.
thought I'd drop
First
that
reaction
in.
to it, how do you feel?
Pretty flat.
Yeah.
Because
would be.
that's too many knee injuries for him as well.
I
you
mean,
know.
they're in contract talks to him as well.
Yeah, and that doesn't do him any favours.
No, you'd be. Oh, PCL is that's not ACL is the worst one, but PCL is still pretty bad to come back from.
Well, if you're out for the rest of the season, it's not,
it's not great, and surgery again on that knee.
Yeah.
Horrible. So what about North and Suns?
Yeah, I do apologise.
Yeah. North can't defend, and Suns are allergic to playing in the state. That's where you're at.
That's exactly where we're at.
So I'm going North because I don't trust the Suns, and I think the Suns will shit the bed. And I think North have a bit of momentum at the moment.
I'm going to go Suns. I think it's
To break the hoodoo.
Yeah, I think if you're going to break the hoodoo, this should be it.
If they don't win this game against North, they're not playing finals.
No, of course
This is a
not.
must win for them. Also must win here for Port. Port v Doggies in Adelaide. Port $2.08. Dogs $1.78. Dogs are 3.5 favourites at the line. Now the boys in Port Adelaide, they're playing for Ken's coaching life.
Yep.
They are lots of talk last week from the dinosaurs out there saying it was too much emotion. He shouldn't be this upset. It's a guy that cares about his job.
Yeah.
We were very harsh on him, and people said you did a 180 on your tone of him. Guess what? Fuck Ken.
Yeah.
in a nice way. I'm still harsh on him. I think his job's done. I don't think they're going to bring him back next year, regardless, unless they win the flag.
Yeah.
That's probably the only way he keeps his job.
That's fair.
I think they got Stewie Dew on their mind. And when they do, I'll change that Suns jumper to a power one. That one there. And a lot of people were on your ass.
Me?
Yeah.
What
about
for?
what you said about Jason Horn.
Oh, well, righto. In what sense?
Just like
don't
the fact
agree?
that you can't see how good he is.
I didn't say that.
You said he's not very good and he makes himself look busy.
I didn't say he's not very good. I don't think I get the hype. I don't think, would I like him at the Saints? Of course I would. I think he's a great player. But I do think he makes himself look very busy. He's so erratic.
So
he
you're
gets the
saying-
ball and he goes, right, who have I got? And then just goes, little simple handball.
I get the zigzag. Like maybe he's trying to, zigzag away from his shadow. Where he doesn't need to do that. He could maybe burst out of a stoppage a bit cleaner.
Totally.
So you're saying he does the
Think
zigzags.
about like when a Nick Dacos bursts out of a
That's straight,
stoppage.
streamlined.
It's just straight and he gets the job
Yeah.
done from A to B, whereas
He
Paul
thinks
Francis
he's-
is like a dog chasing his tail.
I think the
and
shadow's
then-
going to tackle him.
Yeah, and then gets rid of it.
Well, watch this week. I can't wait for some zigzags this week.
Totally.
Let's go Horn
Zigzag
Francis
watch.
zigzag watch. Port aren't playing well, but have been the last 3 times. I'm going to pick Doggies only because they have Bont. Ooh. And Bont is just great at the moment.
Okay.
He's the best player in the league, and I back in the best player in the league to put
That's
the boys
fair.
on his back and say, come on. And I reckon they're too tall forward for Port.
Yeah.
Be a good game, though. Actually,
be
a good
really
game.
good.
Even though it's on the same time as North and Suns, which is going to be an absolute horrible experience for my eyeballs. I think that the Doggies get the job done here.
Nice.
And the Doggies had a bit of 2016 about them here.
Yeah.
I got a feeling.
Ooh.
120 is their percentage. I just feel like if they make that 8,
Well, you're right as well. Just sitting 9th, so they realistically wouldn't get higher than 6th.
they're stalking the 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, really stalking it. So I'm going to go Dogs.
Oh, I'll go Port, but I like your theory.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is a big one. This is actually really big. Geelong v Hawthorn in Geelong. Cats $1.56. Wow. Hawks are $2.44. The line is 1.5. The Aurafield swagger walking studs that are the Hawthorn Football Club get in their cars, travel down the highway to boring, dull, shit old Geelong. Don't know about it for the Hawks. The Hawks are fun to watch. I just don't want them to go to Geelong and just think that, okay, this is a boring town. You know, maybe we don't want to be here. Maybe we want to get this experience over and done with, and we don't turn up.
Because you can get burnt.
You can, especially against a good team.
Yep.
Geelong are still a very good team. It's going to be 9 degrees on Saturday. So that plays into my equations here because last week the Hawks played in Egypt on that ground.
Sure.
A lot of sand, a lot of heat. Don't know about now. They're going to go Geelong, 9 degrees.
Yeah.
Dull.
Yeah.
Geelong like playing down there. It's their home ground, obviously. Yeah. But I don't think that could play a factor here.
Few long sleeves, though, for Hawthorn. So keep that in mind.
Watch how many long sleeves will be out here.
It'll be long sleeves.
Headbands and long sleeves.
Yeah.
Ginnivan, Dempsey,
Yep.
Sam DeConning, Sicily probably if he plays. Now he got the shoulder.
Yeah.
Avoided surgery, could play this week. He's a tough bastard. He'll play.
Lots of
He'll
extra
play through it.
material.
Yeah. And Geelong just beat a top 4 team. Let's not forget that. As much as they've been shaky, they just beat a top 4 team.
Yeah,
even though it's Essendon, which I respect massively. I just want to flag that with all the listeners. Absolutely love Essendon Football Club. Got some question marks on them, but couldn't respect them anymore. So I'm going, it's going to hurt because the Hawks are so fun and they're so cool and I love everything they're doing. I'm going Cats.
I think you have to.
Yeah.
Would location change this decision?
Massively. This is the G. I think
You'd
the
go
Hawks
Hawks.
would,
Okay.
be able to bow. But I think Geelong's just brings them down.
Yep.
Yeah. And Geelong's not a shithole. Sorry, I've said that. I didn't mean that it was a shithole. It's a nice town. It's just a bit laid back.
That's a nice way. That's a real estate agent going through a small house. It's very
well,
cozy,
now I
isn't
think
it?
about it, shithole was harsh. Like that was probably too much.
Yeah, no,
Was it too much?
Well, to be fair, you've said it since the first podcast
I've never
out,
said shithole.
and not one person has commented on it. So maybe
I will do a poll. Is Geelong a shithole?
Yeah,
on socials.
It's good.
I think no. It's just a sleepy town.
nice.
That's boring. I went there once to a pub and just a horrible experience.
Yeah.
Giants, here we go. Giants and Blues at that shithole NG Stadium. Actually, now think about it. That joint is a shithole. Giants $2.19, Blues $1.68. The line is 5.5. The line's 5.5. Are you kidding me? It's insulting that they put the hottest ticket in town at NG Stadium. That is just, that's like doing, that's horrible. That's service. We're doing them a service by going there and playing this game. No Josh Kelly, popped a calf. 4 weeks out. Sam Taylor's broken his balls still, so he's getting them fixed. And the Moth Cottrell could return. Big Moth Cottrell. Big on him. Tom DeConning could come back. I can't find a way that the Giants win this. They need to get motivated and put the season back on track. Big it up, big it up, big it up. Let's go. Who fuck it or not? They need to get back on track.
Yep.
Here. I don't know. Their fall off needs to be studied. They're absolutely nowhere compared. They were 7-0, everyone. Yeah. So Kelly out. Massive for the Giants. Blues midfield, way too much. Walsh, Cripper, Akers, Chera, Hewitt, Elijah Hollands. This train keeps rolling. Dogs keep barking. The train keeps rolling, boys. Boys by lots.
Another spanking, do you think?
Yeah. What's Tipper's choice saying?
67%.
Wow, that's lower than I thought. I think it's, you know what? It's going to be a dirty day. It'll be a real sleeves up. Who wants it more?
Yeah.
Gross game, but I think the Blues just get there. And maybe the line 5.5 is good.
Yeah. I reckon Giants. Just.
You're such a wank.
Wow.
You just did that because you know that you just know that because you'd get a reaction out of me. You actually think the Giants will win this game?
There's a difference between what I actually think and whether or not I need to take a risk in my tipping, don't I?
True. So you're on Giants because you need a risk.
Yeah, they've won more games at home, so I don't know. Let's give it a go.
They play at home.
No, what?
They've won more games at NG Stadium. Of course they have.
No, I mean their record this year.
Oh, it's better at home.
Yeah,
okay,
better at home and
I just
don't
think,
call me a wanker.
Sorry, I didn't mean that. A bit harsh there on Geelong and Wankers. Yeah. Okay, well, you go Blues, I go Giants. Richmond, this is going to be a bloodbath. Freo v Richmond in Egypt. Fremantle $1.07, Tigers $8.50. The line is 43.5. Hey, Richmond, don't even get in the flight.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to really, like, you're going to a knife fight with a plastic fork.
Yep.
Like, this is not going to be good for you guys at all. Now, Freo do have a lot of Carlton tendencies. They're going well. We're kind of the same. We're going well, should win this game, but they got something in their DNA that says shit the bed.
Okay.
Like, hey, we're feeling good, time to shit them.
You've just got IBS, essentially.
Yeah, essentially. I don't think it'll be this game. I think that Tigers just won't put up a fight, but they have that in them.
Yep.
So we're kind of the same. Dusty out.
Yep.
Not going to travel. Back spasms.
Yep.
Came to the footy club for too long. Mm-hmm. Got that Gold Coast awareness somewhere in his back.
Yeah.
He just his back's so sore because he's just waiting to put his front on a beach. Imagine your back being sore and just knowing you go to the beach, tan on your front, relax. 2-year deal, son. Someone broke it during the week that he's going to play there.
Yeah.
We've said that all along.
It's not breaking if you're just telling us what we've already heard for 7
I've been saying it
weeks,
flat
but
out.
That's all right.
Tigers need to just, maybe that tactic we spoke about last pod, and they're just going out there and beating the shit out of all the other players for the first 2 minutes until someone can stop it.
Yeah.
Might be the way to go. This will be a big win for Freo.
Yep, agreed.
I'm thinking 100
Oh, geez, that big.
if they're half serious.
Yeah, okay.
Percentage booster time. This is big only because the Prince is coming to Melbourne. Melbourne v West Coast. Melbourne $1.15. The Eagles are $5.50. The Lions 32.5. 110 Sunday. Don't mind the 110 slot.
No,
It's pretty good.
it is handy.
It's good just to start your day on a Sunday. Wholesome shops, market, lunch. 110.
100%. And it allowed for the 110 last weekend with the Saints. It allowed me to get to the MCG before the first quarter and ended. So it's pretty good.
That is good. Yeah, great. I mean, if anyone wants to do that, I guess this week could go.
Yep.
Oh, it's MCG all the way around.
Yeah, but same thing.
Same. I've got some. I'm excited because the Prince is going to play at the MCG.
Yeah, huge.
Now, we said he hasn't played there yet.
Well,
I close my eyes and I don't picture the Prince running around the MCG
no,
yet.
I feel like we would have talked about it.
We would have. It's big.
He's obviously played in Melbourne. He played Collingwood at Marvel. So there.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is big. It's going to be fun to see him out there. I just don't know. Like, is anyone going to beat this game? These fans are at the Snow.
Oh, well, that's confirmed.
They're playing West Coast, so do they really want to go watch this? Yeah. It's cold as well.
Oh.
I don't know. Good to see Track back at the club, though.
Yeah.
He was with a lot of Chinese whispers that he's angry at him. Still hearing him.
Be a tense workplace.
Chinese yelling.
Yeah.
Chinese got throat awareness.
Yeah.
That's what I've got. That's loud and clear. That is loud and clear. He's very disgruntled. A lot of talk about him was maybe not replying to a few messages in the groups.
Oh.
A lot of talk about him wanting a trade. I made that up. That's not true. I made everything up. I still, we know you and I, both of us will loop us in. We have still an ongoing feud with the player.
Yeah. Hey, if I've got a feud with someone, you do too.
Yeah, so every week I find it really hard to pick Melbourne because of it.
Yeah.
But I just don't think, I don't know. They win this.
Yeah,
They
I
win this
agree.
game easily. West Coast are just they're under siege here at the moment.
Yeah.
Holes in the boat everywhere, going down fast. I love that Melbourne posted the fact they had 10 under 22 players.
Yeah.
They know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Hey, we're just winning games here. We're just losing games, actually. This is why.
Yeah.
Do what you want with it.
I'm not saying anything.
We're not
I'm
saying
just
anything,
giving
but
you the info.
Team's pretty young, don't you reckon, guys? Leave comments on. Melbourne by heaps. Here we go. Genuine graveyard. St Kilda, Sydney. Marvel Stadium. Saints are $3.52. Sydney's $1.30. The Lions 3.5. Now, Swans dropped one last week. Had a kick on the siren. Inside job for McDonald. Misses it. Very smart by him. Contract goes up at Freo. And everyone thinks they could probably beat Sydney at the moment. Not the case. This will be a game where they let everyone know they're top dogs. Going to beat the absolute fuck out of Sydney. Too much. Too much.
That was too much.
Even I
wasn't
thought it was too much.
Yeah. Thank you.
They're going to beat St Kilda
Yep.
by a lot. Max King. Here I am saying he's going to have talks about contract extensions with the club. How are you doing his PCL? So what happens to forward line now? Who are we talking?
Forward line will look interesting. You'd imagine that Caminiti will. He spent a lot of time down back last week.
You know what they're going to do?
Yeah.
Tom Campbell.
He played last weekend. So he'll play. Caminiti will go forward more. I don't think. No, memory's not available for selection. So yeah, it'll be a bit of an ad hoc kind of put together. It'll be a real game where Higgins and Butler really need to stand up.
It's probably it's probably not a bad one not to have a key, given Sydney don't have really a key back, like
That's
a full
true.
size full back.
That's true.
Caminiti forward, Tom Campbell will be there to.
Yep.
Or they'd put Rowan there.
Yeah, well,
But Grundy,
yeah, he'll need to.
you need him in there against Grundy.
Yeah,
So Tom Campbell's probably your forward, your main just anchor point.
Yeah.
With Caminiti.
Caminiti.
Need Higgins and Owens to get going.
Yeah, Butler, Higgins, Owens will be where we were looking.
I mean, Saints could do it. They could just play that defensive mind. The thing about Ross is that he could just pull one out of his backside.
Yeah, of course.
Like this Saints team could do that. I think they are very boring and they don't score a lot of points, but they could literally bring the Swans down to the level
Yep.
and just say, this is a shit fight. we're not going to let you score, and we don't really care about scoring either.
Yep.
And that's how they could win it.
Yep. Well, I'm going Saints.
Well, I know you are. Contractually, you're obliged to. I think that the Swans will break those shackles.
Okay.
And blow this open. And just a little,
Just a reminder.
everyone. We're pretty good still. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
But actually an interesting game to watch just because Swans are bleeding a little bit.
Yeah.
Ross the boss probably has a plan.
Yep.
How's it come together?
It'll be good. Pride game as well, and kids go free for round 17 and 19 for
Great.
St Kilda, so come on down, kids.
Anything else you want to plug? Sports bet agreement? Your feed stuff?
Feed's going well, yeah.
Your window? Yeah, your feed? How's your feed going?
Yeah, feed's going well. If you're in Tassie, you can listen to me, Water Boys, every Saturday morning, 8 till 10. So.
Your feed? Euros on still?
Yeah. We're coming to the end of the tournament, so quarterfinals this weekend.
Great.
Yeah.
Pointy end.
You now, just before we end, you did say that you were going to try and get into it.
Loving it. Loving what they're doing out there, the boys. All of them.
Yeah.
Loving what England are doing.
Italy's doing well, aren't they?
No, they're out.
Oh, very good.
They are out of it, mate. I know my stuff. No,
Okay.
I love what England are doing. Good out of jail last game.
Yes.
Yeah, bicycle kick.
Yep.
Done plenty of those in my time. And loving what all the teams doing, all the countries. It's just, you know what the Euros are? The Euros are a good opportunity for fans and countries to come together and celebrate.
Yeah.
Regardless of who wins and who loses.
Interesting
That's what I love the
outlook.
most about it.
Very
Yep.
interesting outlook.
Yep. Brisbane v Adelaide, the Gabba. In the morgue here, Brisbane $1.21, Crows $4.45, Lions 20.5. Now, Crows won last week, but this has got bad news all over it. Bad news, Crom. I think you're walking into an absolute shitstorm. This is gonna
It's
be
a
bad.
furnace.
Yeah, this is a
Yeah.
real furnace. You're getting the Lions at the wrong time because the Lions are coming to buy, swinging. They're a different team post-buy. They're dangerous. They're fun as well.
Well, we've got re-signings. So there's clearly a good vibe.
Yeah. Chris Fagan seems to be back with it.
Yep.
Like his mind might have lost in there for a little bit.
A little bit of Joe
mid-season.
Biden
Yeah,
vibe.
a little bit of Biden about it. I think he's back now, which
Yeah.
is good. That Biden stuff's sad.
Yeah, it's not great, is it?
They got to pull him out.
It's scary.
We've got to come back to the game. I think the Lions by plenty.
Yep. I'm with you there.
I think if it was at Adelaide, it'd be different because as I keep saying, Adelaide a different Adelaide.
Yep.
But Brisbane's different.
Early tipsters' choice, 95%.
There you
for
are.
the
That
Lions.
says it all.
Yep.
That says it all. So, okay. So, Lions by a lot. Hey, great app. All right, it's that time. I hope you're hungry because we've got a delicious feed right here on Sportsbet's feed. This week, we're on Team Multi. Collingwood to beat Essendon on Friday night. Geelong to beat the cool, swagger walking Hawks. Carlton to go up to Sydney and beat GWS. Melbourne over West Coast. Sydney over St Kilda. And Brisbane in Brisbane to beat Adelaide. Get on the feed right now. Follow all the bets there.
Hey, well done today.
Thanks, you were great. Hey, lose by run by. Haven't had a run last month.
Yes.
Didn't give an update.
Well, you're putting
but
on weight. You'd be ready to go.
hip is loving it.
Yeah.
Oh, left hip is thanking Carlton so much. So this might be, given we play the Giants, this might be one where we get some Ks on the board.
Yeah,
Potentially,
true.
I don't think so, but potentially it could be a 10K
Yeah.
run.
Yeah.
It couldn't be a blowout. Last time we went to Sydney, it was 52 points.
That's true.
So my hip's shaking in the socket. God, please, no, please. And Team of the Year as well. Someone sent in a design for the jacket.
Oh, did it look good?
So we get those. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh.
No, but we'll look at that and we'll see how we go. But hey, enjoy your weekend, everyone. Let's go Saints. Let's go Blues.
Yes.
Big game Friday night. I think it's going to be a good round of football. We'll come in here Monday and we'll be like, okay,
Oh, yeah.
there's some clear contenders and some clear frauds.
Hey, before we go, just remember.
Don't make
got
a joke, mate.
No, you've got to print out running order. Was that for Matt Hill? Did you want to seem a bit sort of? Did you want to impress him a little bit? Do you say what's happened? Because you've got your running order on your computer, but okay,
You know what?
That's the first time you've ever done it.
I just knew that he would bring in the racing guide. So I thought, if this guy does it,
And you
old Goz is going to bring in some paper as well.
old school.
Yep, life's pretty good at the moment. You're welcome, everyone. Enjoy your weekend.
Imagine what you could be buying instead. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.